there needs to be a therapist. There needs to be a therapist in the castle. Why isn't there? You got nannies, you got thaumaturgs, you got maids, you got chefs, but you don't got a therapist up in that house. Like, you're missing something. You're missing something. But think about me. If you know me very well, then you know that I like to info dump about things from the Lunar Chronicles universe. I literally only read 3 of the books out of like the 5. Oh, that's not how you do math. 6. You have 6, not including like the mini series, but I am obsessed with the series so far. And I wanted to do my little era where I feel myself reading my books because I want to document my emotions, because I feel so about this book series. I know that when Marissa and Meyer literally sat down to write these books, she was like, I'm gonna make history. And that's what this is.
I want to make history. And that's what this is.
So today, or I guess for this whole video, we're gonna be reading Fairest and we're gonna be reading Winter. So we have her here. And yes, I already started reading her. I started reading her yesterday. So I already have my little annotation. So we're gonna start Fairest tonight, or continue reading Fairest tonight. Let me give you like a recap of what's happening. We're learning about Queen Levana's Levana. We're gonna say Levana. Queen Levana's villain origin story. So we just figured out. Disclaimer. There's gonna be a lot of spoilers in this. Like, this video is gonna be so stinky with how spoily this like video is gonna be. So if you haven't read the Lunar Chronicles yet, do not watch this. Turn around, go back. Like, you're probably thinking like, well, wouldn't she want the views? Yeah, but like, at what cost? Y'all need to read the Lunar Chronicles from the beginning in the right order, okay? Because you need to experience the series for yourself, babes. Back to it. She's waking up from like a dream, like a nightmare, where she's like being burned on the coal, and we're all like, oh my god, what is going on? And she wakes up in a cold sweat, and she's like, that was really scary. Anyways, and tries to go back to sleep, and then she's thinking, what should I wear for my parents' funeral tomorrow? And it's just like, she's so nonchalant about it. She's like, yeah, my parents died. She's like, should I like use my glamour to like look like my mom when she was younger? And then she's like, how about I just like do like a little gym so it looks like I'm crying? So basically what we find out for now, I'm not sure if we found out more information, but we find out that her parents were assassinated by a shell. So the shell came in. Of course, they can't be glamored. So like, what are the guards gonna do? Fight back? Hopefully they would fight back, but I guess like the shell was just too strong. But like, you're literally the guard, just fight back. Like, what do you mean? If you anyways, I guess like the security wasn't popping back in the day, but I digress. So the shell gets in the castle, kills Levana's mom first, and then goes to a separate room and kills their dad. I was like, oh, I wonder why they're in a separate room. Maybe they're just having like little relationship troubles. But yes, they were, because he's hanging out with the mistress. And so when the shell, he's just, okay. He's like, stab. And the mistress is like, oh my God. She's in shambles. And, you know, everyone runs in and they kill the shell. She didn't really she wasn't really sad about it, is what we were hearing about. She wasn't really like up in arms like, oh my god, my parents just died. She was like, oh, but so, well, what now?
So,
no, I'm saying
what now?
So I'm getting the vibe that like the family dynamic is just not a good one. We meet Channery, which is Levana's big sister, or oldest sister. I guess it's just the two of them. And Channery comes in and she's like, my dearest sister, hey Pookie. And at first I thought Levana was just jealous. Like, oh, well, she's like, she might be pretty, but she's a pretty fool. Like, oh, I get like, okay. Maybe she is, but I don't think it's just that. We get to the scene where like Channery's like, oh, I think she's like basically like teasing her about like why there's no mirrors in the room and why she had like, and what the glamour that Levana's wearing is about. And she's like, oh my gosh, like, oh, you're so cute. Smack. She smacks. I'm not laughing. It's just like, oh my god. She smacks Levana across the face. She backhands that girl. She flays. flies across the room. She doesn't fly, but like, you know, I'm being dramatic. She flies across the room. And I'm like, and Levana's like, and the maid who walked in on the scene is like, and we're all just sitting there like, and she calls Levana an ugly duckling. We get to the funeral scene and everyone's like coming up to the sisters being like, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss. And they're like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And then we get to this man, and this man's name is, wait for it, Sir Everett Hale. And hold on. What's Winter's last name? Hold on, guys. Wait, I think I know what happened. Wait. Okay, so I just checked. Okay, this is so weird because last night I was like literally about to fall. Okay, whoa, my phone literally died right when I figured out. Okay, anyways, so last night I was like sleeping. I woke up because I was thinking about, well, I wasn't sleeping, I was about to fall asleep. And then I was thinking about the Lunar Chronicles as one who's hyperfixated on Lunar Chronicles does. And I'm like, what's Jason's last name? I don't know why. Why would I think? Anyways, I was like, what's Jason's last name? His name has to be Hale because I was thinking about Sir Everett Hale. I was like, oh my God, what if that's like Jason? But like, that makes no sense because like, if you could, I was like this close to the point and I missed it. Like, girl, please be so for real. And I thought it was Jason's whose last name is Hale. Because I knew one of the characters, one of the main characters in Winters had the last name Hale. But now it confirmed my suspicion that it's Winter. Winter's last name is Hale. So here's my prediction of what happens. I think that Levana is going to make Sir Everett Hale fall in love with her. And then that's how Winter... Wait, no, aren't Winter... Are they stepsisters? Her stepmother. Okay, I was right. Because at first I was like, why would it be sister? Because that makes no sense. If you're... Like, oh my God, Laila. I'm sorry. Sometimes I forget that I lack common sense. So... Okay, editing Laila here. I just realized I did not say my prediction. My prediction was that Levana's gonna marry or manipulate Everett into marrying her, and then Levana's gonna kill Everett. That was my prediction. It makes sense. I mean, obviously. I mean, we got Winter Hale, we got Sir Everett Hale, we got Queen Levana. Queen Levana is Miss Winter Hale's stepmother. Back to the plot. At the funeral, we meet Sir Everett Hale. And Levana's talking about how, like, it was low-key, like, love at first sight. Like, when she saw her... Sorry, when she saw... She's gay. When she saw him, she was like, oh my God, he's so beautiful. And those, like, eyes are, like, full of black and green and golden flecks. And I'm just so... And he's like, oh my God. And she has, like, the biggest crush on him. He's one of the palace guards, basically. And he comes up, he's like, girl, I'm so sorry for your loss, baby. I'm so sorry, Pookie. And she's like, oh, it's okay. You were my father's favorite. But she was like, I don't really know. Sorry, I don't really freaking know if he was my father's favorite. I'm just saying that. And he's like, oh, thank you. That means a lot. Let me introduce you to my wife. When I read that part, I was literally like this. Imagine loving someone since you were 8 and they're like, yeah, here's my wife. That's the most humbling experience I could ever go through. Like, insane. And then this is why I love Marissa Meyer, because Meyer. I love being able to pronounce words, guys, because she'll say, like, she has this beautiful writing, and then sometimes she'll say something that's absolutely freaking gut-wrenching and just like, oh, like I literally wrote in my annotations. Yeah, just ripped my heart out. Like, literally, look. She said, second, that Everett looked at her with a gentleness that Levana had never seen in a man's eyes, and that look sparked a yearning in her so strong it felt like agony. Why would she write this? Miss Marissa? So, we've gotten to the part where she is at the AR4 shopping district. She's going to Solstice, seam store? Right? Like seamstress store? I don't know how to call that. What do you call them? But she's walking to Solstice shop, and that's where I stopped. So we're rhymed. So we're gonna annotate. We're gonna see how far we get to this by 11. It's already like 11. It's already 10:30, and I go to sleep at 11 because I had to wake up at 6 tomorrow morning for my 8 a.m. class. I'll see you later. Oh, time lapse. Let's do a time lapse. Yeah. Okay, the screen is tilted, but like, ignore that. I'm getting ready for class right now, but I wanted to like give like a little update about where I am in the book. So I just got to the part where that nurse was like, "Oh my gosh, Sir Everett Hale, your wife's in labor and she's not looking at it." January was like, "Oh well, you can't see her because you're working right now." So, and Levana was like, "No, he's not, because he's coming to town with me." So I was like, "Okay, Levana, like, are we getting..." Okay, I'm not saying that she's getting a character redemption arc, because, like, first of all, she did one good deed. Like, no one moved. And she did it because she liked that person. If she didn't like that person, she probably wouldn't have done that. I got to that part, but I'm gonna go into detail about the things that, like, literally made my jaw drop later after school, because I am low-key in a rush and I have to leave in 10 minutes. And I don't have everything on, so wish me luck. Yeah, so that's the update. I'm really liking the book so far. Like, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that I like the book, because like it's Marissa Meyer and I love her writing and it makes total sense. And she's gonna eat it up every time. I'll update you on everything after school. Bye. Is this working? My phone's running out of storage. And then when I was like, okay, I could just use this low quality photo booth, my photo booth stopped working. So I had to restart my computer. But anyway, so last night I read up to the part where Levana helped Everett. I want to call him Everest, like Mount Everest. Levana helped Everett get to the hospital for his wife. And let me tell you, so last night I got to the part where Levana was like, "Let me be Solstice for a second." Huh? And so she glamours herself as Everett's wife. And then Everett sees her as Solstice. You cannot waterboard that information out of me. You cannot glamour that information out of me. That's so embarrassing. And she had the balls. She had the balls to like be like, "Hey Everett, like I know your wife just died, but I could be there for you, Pookie." For how insecure Princess Levana is, she is very bold. Like, wow, the juxtaposition is crazy. Like, she's like, "Oh, I'm so insecure," but also, Everett Pookie, at your young age, you need to be doing some puzzles. You need to be doing your math homework. How about that? And we also figured out some very important lore points. So we find out that Levana's father, like, created the monster soldiers. What do you call them? They're not thaumaturge. I forgot what they're called. Levana's father came up with that. And then, of course, we are reintroduced to the concept, the fact that lettumosis is like manufactured in order to like weaken Earth so they could like make better trades with the planet, basically. Literally everything was planned, even down to the discrimination about shells. I mean, like, yeah, shells have always been like a little, to the eyes of citizens of the moon, of Luna. Channery was like, "Let me just sign up on the law that like actively discriminates against shells." Oh, and then let's introduce Sybil Mira remix Sybil Mira as like the person who gathers people in order to do the experiments on lettumosis, because like the antidote needs shells for some crazy thing. I don't know. We learn about okay, well, first of all, I know the king and queen's name now. King Merrick and Queen Janali, that's a nice name. And we learned that Luna used to be a democracy, and now they're in a monarchy since the day Cypress Blackburn created his own throne. I have no idea who Cypress Blackburn is. They got that kind of Harry Potter name. so he must be some important figure. Basically, he like created like the whole like Blackburn bloodline and the whole Blackburn monarchy that's ruling Luna right now. This is crazy because saying this out loud to no one in particular is like, hearing it back, I'm like, wow, without context, this sounds absolutely crazy. Like, this sounds like a fever dream. The tea is popping, though. So, Solstice, unfortunately, does pass away, but she does successfully give birth to Winter Hale. And at, like, the hospital, Levana's, like, basically looking through, like, the window where, like, they keep all the little babies in, like, the little egg incubators. And Mr. Everett walks in. And she's like, Everett, I'm so sorry for your loss. And you know what she says to him? She says, well, everything happens for a reason. Huh? Read the room. Like, and you did it at my birthday dinner.
And you did it at my birthday dinner.
His wife just died. Like, D-I-E-D. Died. And you're like, it happened for a reason. Insane response. Here's what I don't get, is that people are like, well, I don't want to read Fairest because I don't want to, like, have sympathy for Levana. I'm like, girl, so far, I'm not finding anything that I can sympathize with her. And a lot of people have gone through, like, traumatic events, which I'm assuming Levana also went through, too. A lot of people have gone through traumatic events and have not turned out the way that Levana has turned out. You know? It's not like I'm like, oh, Team Queen Levana. Like, girl, I don't want to have sympathy, girl. You don't gotta worry. You're not gonna have any sympathy after this book, babes. You're good. Hey, you're good. And Everett's like, oh, like, in a sense that, she's like, oh, no, I mean, like, in a sense that, like, I'm just here to comfort you and be there for you. And he's like, oh. And she's like, saved it. And she's basically being like, wow, I'm so glad Solstice died, so now I can take her place, and I could be a better mother, I could be a better wife, and yeah. At 15, I was not thinking like this. Like, did I think I was gonna marry Harry Styles? Yes, but I wasn't this delusional. I guess you gotta manifest your destiny. Maybe I didn't manifest hard enough. I don't know what I was doing wrong back then, girl. She's thinking, like, maybe Everett is avoiding her. But, like, he's literally just, like, on, like, mourning leave, maternity leave, basically. Yeah, she literally says in the book, his wife was dying, he would be alone. Levana knew it was so very wrong to think, but she couldn't fully deny the spark that flared behind her sternum. This was fate. This was meant to be. Yeah, she's thinking that, like, maybe Everett has been avoiding her. But really, he's been, like, mourning for 3 days straight. He's about to come back to work. Everett goes on Levana's door, basically. Wait, or maybe, I can't remember if, like, he knocks on the door or, like, they just bump into each other at the palace. I can't remember. But either way, they end up in Levana's room. And he's holding the blanket that Solstice made that Levana thought was really pretty. He's like, I wanted to give you this because I know that Solstice said that you admired it and to thank you for what you did for me at the hospital. Levana's like, this means he's in love with me.
Oh my God.
Come again? Come again? What do you mean? And she's like, don't be shy, Pookie Everett. Like, oh? And she's like, oh, I could be her. You know, I could be her. And she glamours herself to, like, look like Solstice. No Chick-fil-A sauce? Like, oh my God, what in the world? And then she glamours him to, like, stay in one spot so, like, they could kiss. I'm like, girl, without consent. Jail time. Electric chair. I propose, put her in a cage. Who said that? And the whole time Everett's like, no, like, please, it's gonna get so much harder to get over my dead wife, so please don't look like her. Oh my gosh. Okay, and at that time, she's like glamoring him, being like, say that you love me. And he's like, I love you, ... Solstice. Nah, because if the man of my dreams literally called me by another woman's name, he would not be hearing from me anytime soon. I would fall off the face of Luna. I would fall off the face of the universe. You would never see me ever again. Never hear, never see, never smell, nothing. I would be gone from your conscious. You wouldn't even remember me. Okay? That's how gone I would be. Yeah, so they end up kissing. And then I stopped. Like, now I'm on page 96. I'm hoping I didn't forget anything because I wish I, like, updated throughout the day. Because me trying to recall events that happened, and also my brain is kind of fried from having classes all day too. And also I have ADHD, so we all know anything that comes in here is out the back of my cranium. Like, she's never coming back. Don't worry, like, she's gone forever. Maybe it's not the words on the pages, but it's the friends that we make along the way. Anyway, so I'm gonna keep reading tonight. I probably won't do, like, a time lapse or, like, cute little thing showing that I'm reading because my phone likes to be a... She likes to be a horrible person. Like, I'm just trying to live my life. I'm trying to tell everyone in the universe how much I love this book series. And my phone said, I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm sorry about the bad quality. I'm sorry about the bad audio. But anyways, I hope y'all stick with me because this is gonna be a wild ride. I'll catch back up to you another time. Peace out, Girl Scout. I just heard scissors. I just came back from the dining hall and I'm ready to talk my shit, to talk my poop about Miss Fairest, Miss Queen Levana. So let's start page 90 to page 150 because that's where I stopped. I have sticky note of all the things that went down, so I don't remember what happened. I'm going to be looking down at my tripod because that's where the sticky note was attached. I don't know where I left off last time, and it's probably like a gap between what I just said in my last recap video to like now, and I'm so sorry about that. But basically, I think I left off like Everett died. Solstice died. Oh my god. And Levana's like, I could be Solstice. And that, I'm like, girl, you're 15. Go do your math homework. Levana like kind of like manipulates Everett into, not kind of, she does manipulate Everett into marrying her. And she's like, marry me, Everett, and blah blah blah. And I'm gonna get this out of the way. I'm a little concerned with the age gap between Everett and Levana. Because Everett's like, oh my god, I can't believe I did this. Like, you're so young. I'm like, how old are you, Everett? How old are you? Like, I know that you were literally like glamored. Like, that's like beyond your control. But also, girl. I think Levana, throughout like the 90 to 150 page mark, I've realized that Levana kind of has like, she has like okay, hear me out. She does have like good traits in her in the sense that like she knows what she's doing is wrong, but she still does the wrong thing. She knows that glamoring Everett is wrong. She knows that wanting to kill Cinder is wrong, but she's like, well, if it means I get to get what I get, then I don't really care. Girl, like, you're so close. You're so close to like seeing the point, but you keep like missing it. Like, the bullseye's right here and you keep like going over there, going over there. Like, you're so close, sweetheart. Just work a little bit more and you're there. They're at their wedding. It's a cute little small wedding. It's only like Garrison Clay, I think that's what his name is, Garrison Clay and his family, Jace, which I realized that's Jason, as in like Winter's love interest. I'm like, wow, Winter, like mother like daughter, you with the love interest with the guards is crazy. Like, I guess it runs in the family. And I was like, oh my god, wait, I just realized after this whole time of reading the book, and I knew that Garrison Clay was a person, I was like, it's Jason. Jason has a cameo in this book, guys. And Levana's like giving like Winter, who's still a baby at the point, like side eye because she's like crying. I'm like, well, she's a baby. It's like, yes. Okay, if you're this remorseful to a child, I don't think you should be like getting married and having a child of your own. Like, insane behavior. The wedding ring thing. It's the fact that Everett still had his wedding ring from when he married Solstice. He was like, I'm not taking it off. Good for you. So the next day, Channery finds out that they had a wedding, and she's like, I can't believe you literally dated a guard. You're dating a guard. Or, sorry, you're married to a guard. Like, I literally had, like, in place for you to marry someone else. We also find out that Miss Channery is pregnant. She's preggers. And at first I was like, who is she? She's pregnant with who? And then it hit me. Cinder. Obviously, we know that from the 3 books. But I don't know why all the information, I'm like, what? Like, girl, please work. And I'm like, oh my god, it's Cinder. Cinder is about to be introduced into the timeline. Yes, I'm very excited for this one. And like the whole time she's having this like conversation with Channery, even before this, she's like trying to convince herself that she's gonna love Winter like she was her own baby. She loves Winter. She's gonna love Celine. She's gonna love Celine. gotta keep an eye out for Celine. She's gonna love Winter, she's gonna love Celine, and she's gonna be a great mother and a great niece. And I'm like, I don't know who you're trying to convince, but you're not convincing me, babes. No, you're not. Yes, I said again, Cinder gets introduced in the timeline, and then we find out that Dr. Darnell gave birth to Cress, who is a shell. Cress has been introduced in the timeline. Yeah. And we find out that Channery has been coughing for a while, and she's like, oh, it's gonna go away, whatever. Spoiler alert, it never does, and the girl dies from the cough. Well, not from the cough, she dies from regolith? I think that's what it's called. And like they're theorizing that like she probably went out of the sectors of the domes to like rendezvous with her little secret lover. Also, we don't know who Cinder's dad is. Yeah, Channery is sick. Channery tells Levana to hold Cinder or Celine while she's out coughing. And she's like, okay. And she's looking at Celine and she's like, Celine, when I catch you, Celine? Celine, when I catch you, Celine?
Ricky, when I catch you, Ricky? Ricky, when I catch you, Ricky?
She does not like Cinder. She's trying to convince herself to like Cinder, but she physically cannot. And she's having like fantasies of killing Celine, killing a child. Oh, Channery comes back in, and Channery is like, oh, that emperor is so cute, you know, Kai's dad. That emperor is so cute, like, I should probably, like, marry him, LOL. Like, I'm thinking that, like, if Celine married the emperor's child, that'd be so cute. And I'm like, me when I manifest something and it literally comes true, love to hear it. I mean, they're not married as of Cress, but, like, I mean, like, how could they not be married? Like, they're gonna get married. I'm convinced. If Kai and Miss Cinder don't get married, then I think I will riot. I will literally riot. So keep an eye out for me, because I will be in the streets with pickets and a flamethrower. So please keep an eye out for me, because I will riot. So after that, Channery dies. And I'm not realizing, but I think I just need to say this out loud, that Levana is truly an intelligent character. Not only in the way she manipulates people and the way she schemes, and it's just the way that like she has like such a good understanding and grasp of politics compared to like Channery too. She's like strategic when it comes to politics and in her life and her love life, you know, specifically too. So head thaumaturge Haddon and Levana are having a meeting and like giving her like updates about things, you know, like, oh, we've given like the citizens like longer days but a lot more breaks and productivity's up, but we're scared that like sustainability is going to start being a problem or whatever. And I love hearing things like this because I love political talk in fantasy books. Well, thaumaturge Haddon's talking about, well, we're a little bit scared because we're kind of concerned about civil unrest. And Levana's like, civil unrest? What do you mean by that? And he's like, no, like in the sense that if people keep staying out late, then like they're gonna like want to like, I don't know, revolt. And Levana's like, who would want to revolt against me? I'm the best queen. I'm like, I don't know who told you were the best queen. Like, with what evidence? With what rights? Did anyone like? Does she know public opinion or whatever? After that, she goes back to Everest and Winter, like back into like their chambers. And Levana's like, dude, I'm telling you, I think I'm gonna be really good at this queen. I'm so good at being queen. And Everett's like, well, how can they love you if they don't even know who you look like? I was sad. I mean, he's onto something. You don't even let your own husband see what you look like. Like, this is giving Phantom Opera. How do you expect people to trust you and love you, especially as their queen? And first of all, you've never been out the sector, you've never been out the dome to visit outer sectors. So like, how could you say that with no evidence? And see, Everett and I are on the same page because that's what I was thinking. I was like, who said that? Like, who said you were the best queen? Like, you have no evidence to support that. You have nothing. Like, we're having a conversation about her looks, and there's allusion to like how she got the burns, and Channery definitely has something to do with it, but we don't know the full story still. And Everett's like trying to get her to stop the glamour, and she's like, no, like, we're not gonna talk about this again. I'm not going to take off my glamour. Zip your lips. Never, don't say anything more about it. Oh, and I think the next scene, this is like when we figure out how Cinder, quote unquote, died. And I thought, first of all, I thought the scene before the death scene was really cute because it was Winter and Cinder playing together. Like, stop. At this point, Levana is still having thoughts about Cinder biting the dust, kicking the bucket. So Miss Levana starts scheming. She doesn't realize that she's making a plan until it's the day. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna take Winter to the doctor's appointment instead of the nanny, right? And so there's a new nanny. She comes in and she's going to watch over Cinder. And Levana's like, okay, go in the play tent. She's like glamoring her, being like, go in the play tent. It's giving like visual ASMR. This is what I think glamour looks like. Go into the play tent. light the candle, fall asleep because you're super tired. You and Cinder fall asleep, and that's the end of it. That's how it happens. The nanny and Cinder are playing at the playpen, and the nanny lights a candle, and they fall asleep, and of course the candle like burns out and like starts a fire. Levana's like, do I feel bad? I do. I feel bad that I had to do this in order to get what I want. I'm happy that I'm successful, but I'm sad that I had to literally kill my like 1-year-old niece about it. But it is what it is. She literally is just giving the vibe of, it is what it is. Like, girl, you just killed a child. Your own niece. There needs to be a therapist. There needs to be a therapist in the castle. Why isn't there? You got nannies, you got thaumaturgs, you got maids, you got chefs, but you don't got a therapist up in that house. Like, you're missing something. You're missing something. So she's like, yes, Selena's dead. Now I'm the queen. So she's like, yeah, the only person who can be a good ruler of this rock is me. And so that's like the motive for killing Selene. But she hears rumors. She's hearing rumors that Selene isn't dead at all. She goes to Dr. Elliot, the doctor that's been throughout the book that I haven't mentioned because he wasn't that important until now. Or she wasn't that important until now. And she's like, doctor, are you lying to me? And Dr. Elliot's like, no, I would never lie to you, my queen. I would never do that. And Levana's like, are you sure? Because I'm hearing some rumors that Selena's alive, but I thought the bitch was dead. And Dr. Elliot's like, no, I mean, like, there was a heartbeat. And Levana's like, oh, there was a heartbeat. And Dr. Elliot was like, yeah, it's right in the report, there was a heartbeat. But, you know, the time that we could, like, get to her, like, by the time, like, we got at the castle, I mean, the heartbeat has ceased to exist, babes. And that's where I stopped. I'm like right in the middle of the conversation of Levana and Dr. Elliot. But I'm excited. I'm on page 166. I have this much left. I could really finish this in one sitting. I'm hoping I can do that tonight. If not, I'll finish it in one sitting tomorrow. So I'll see you afterwards. Oh my god. Don't say anything about the neck pillow. Anyways, oh my god. So Levana and Everett are having a fight, being like, Levana's finally realizing that, yes, she did coerce, what's his name, Everett, to be in a relationship with her. I mean, because like he literally had no choice. He could have been executed, then Winter would have been left alone, and blah 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 blah. That's the context of the fight. They're like, and how do I explain this? Everett's basically saying that, like, what I just said, like, Levana, you've been coercing me, you've been manipulating me the whole time, and I've just been waiting for it to be over, right? And Levana, and this is what happens. Levana's heart throbbed. It's been almost 10 years, she says. I know, Everett says. And now, are you still waiting for it to be over? You know what he says?
Are you still waiting for me to fall in love with you?
Oh my god. That shook me to the core. That's like asking, well, is water wet? People died. Insane. Everett, you better watch your mouth. I'm scared for him. Let's see what happens next. Side note, I didn't realize, but Levana is still parading around as Solstice. Like, she still looks like Solstice. Girl, let it go. Be like Elsa. Like a queen. And let it go. But right now, she's about to show him the real her. Like the little phantom of the opera moment. You get what I'm trying to say. So, Levana showed Everett her face for the glamour. And he was like, oh, okay. It's like, he wasn't like, oh my god, you know what I mean? Like, she was like, oh, okay. He says, it's not the way you look or don't look, Levana. It's that you have controlled and manipulated me for 10 years. Damn. Like, now she's shown her now she's shown him her real face, and it's still not enough to reconcile the relationship, which makes total sense. Like, yes, you manipulated your husband, and now you have consequences for it. So, but no, I'm not pushing away the fact that Levana has abused her husband this whole time, but at the same time, I'm like, damn, she still doesn't feel good enough for him. And it's just like the concept of not feeling good enough for someone that hurts me the most. Like that, whenever a character's like, I'll never be good enough, I'm like, oh, dang it. Now I have 0.1% of sympathy for you. Only 0.1%. Okay. I don't have a lot of sympathy for Levana. Only 0.1%. That's not a lot. Do you not see that? Not me having a literal tear coming. Marissa, Meyer, why are you doing this to me? There's a tear on my eyeball. Oh my god. Wait. Okay. Let me slay for a second. The ending of this book, bro. Oh my god. I don't know. She, like, literally, Levana killed her own husband. And I'm crying for Levana. Something is wrong with this picture. I don't like it. I think I understand now when people are like, I didn't want to be sympathetic towards Levana. Listen, I'm not sympathetic towards her. Next question. So, long time no see, girl. Listen, it's been a while since I finished Fairest. It's been so long that I'm literally about to finish Winter. I have 50 pages left. It's been a while since I finished it, and I have to recap, and I need to tell you my feelings. Also, if you can see the glare from the sun in the window in my glasses, please ignore that. I'm so sorry, but the lighting is kind of killing it, and like I don't want to move somewhere else, but like if you see the glare, just think that it's a part of my outfit. Like, is it giving? Also, another disclaimer, if you see me looking to the side, I am looking at my notes on my computer. And I'm gonna try to like do this really quickly because this video is getting already so long, and my first YouTube video is gonna be like more than an hour long already. So I'm like, okay, I'm just a professional yapper, so okay, I'm getting my degree in yapping. We left off with the conversation with Dr. Elliot and Levana, and it literally goes nowhere. So they take Dr. Elliot to custody, still no new information, and they find out that Logan Tanner has disappeared off the face of the earth. Now Levana is girl bossing her way to cope with the death or disappearance of Celine, even though she literally orchestrated it, so whatever. So she's girl bossing right now. We learn about the first like group of mutant soldiers. She meets Sage Darnell, you know, Cress's dad, who later goes missing 15 years later, and everyone's like, it's suicide. We all know where he is. And the Lunars who left Luna to go to Earth are now the first carriers of Letumosis, and they're spreading it. So Levana's plan is going well, but like the developments with Everett and her are just not. Her relationship with Everett's not going well. There's a scene where Winter and Everett and Jason's family are all playing on the beach or whatever, and Levana's like, wow, everyone looks so happy. Like everyone is really a family here, except for me. Even though I literally like manipulated everyone and coerced everyone to become a family, I'm still not a part of it. And I'm like, well, if only you were true to yourself from the beginning, babes, then we wouldn't have this problem, right? All right. It sounds like a skill issue, in my opinion. Who also agrees? You? Yeah. So Everett and Levana are having this fight where basically Levana is like never participating in family like businesses and like family like fun time. Family fun time. Everett's like, you're always working, you never want to hang out with your own family. Like, what is up with that? And she's like, I'm a queen, I have things to do. And he's like, you're just not like, you're not putting in your effort, basically. And Levana's like, so are you calling me like a bad queen or something? Or are you saying that people are scared of me? Everett's like, you're literally picking a fight with me, girl. Like, I don't even want to do this anymore. And so Levana cries, and she says this thing where she goes, she cried for the girl who had never belonged, a girl who tried so hard, harder than anyone else, and still had never anything to show for it. A girl who had been certain that Everett loved her and only her, and now she couldn't even remember what that certainty looked like. Despite every one of her weapons, the heart of Everett Hale remained unconquered. So this is exhibit number 3526 of Miss Marissa Meyer literally ripping my heart out with a spoon. She goes, why would she say that? Why would she make Levana say that? Like, that hurt me so bad. I was like, bro, bye. And so later, Levana's like, you know what? Conquering Earth, this is really gonna solve all of my problems, of Luna's problems, right? And I'm like, well, girl, you're only wanting to conquer Earth. One of the main reasons why you want to conquer Earth is because you can't conquer anyone else. You can't conquer Everett's heart. You can't have people love you for who you are. So you gotta do that forcefully. And you're coping with that by taking over Earth. Does that make any sense? Hopefully that makes sense. And then this is for the part where literally this is the part where I had to like check in for the first time and be like, guys, something's happening. Everett and Winter are talking, and Winter's like, so what did mom look like? And Levana's like, please say it's me. Please say she looks like me. Like, please say it's me. Like, it's me. And Everett's like, the most beautiful girl in the world. Like, he doesn't say Levana. Like, it, and she's like, like, even after all these years, she's still getting rejected by Everett. Like, well, what she feels is as being rejected. And they have a fight, and again, it's that part where he's like, are you still waiting for me to love you? And I think this part is really an important part of Levana and Everett's relationship. And I also think it's when Levana finally realizes that nothing is going to change. Everett does not love her the way that she wants him to. And honestly, it had me on my knees crying, because imagine that. Imagine that. And then we find out about what happened to Levana's face. And like, to make a long story short, Trannery was like, touch the fire, the holographic fire, girl, you know, touch it. And like, it's not real fire, but like some part of it is like steaming hot. And Trannery's like, touch it, girl, touch it. And Levana's like, I don't think so, never mind. And Trannery's like, fine, I'll just make you touch it. And so she glamours Levana to like put herself in the fire, that because of that, she has like a lot of burn scars. And this whole time, she's like, I hate Trannery for what she did to me. I can't believe she glamored me, manipulated me to do that to myself. Why would she do this? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, girl, you're becoming just as bad as the people around you. Spoilers for Winter, by the way. Levana glamored Winter to like disfigure her own face. And I'm like, if you're so upset that Trannery did that to you, why would you do that to someone else? Like, I feel like that is incredibly hypocritical. And I think it's revenge. It's revenge for Levana. And she's taking out her revenge on everyone. And everyone who's not even like a part of her problem. She's just like really close to the point. And the point is, you do unto others what you wish would be done to you. Right? That's the point. And she's getting there. She's like, I wish Trannery didn't do this to me, but I'm gonna do it to someone else. The girls are tired. Like, please do some soul searching. Look inside. Please do something. Again, y'all need a therapist. Jesus. And so after the fight with Everett and her like reminiscing about what happened about what happened with Trannery, she kind of like has like, she finds herself going to Trannery's old room, and she finds her old mirror, Trannery's old mirror, and she looks at it for the first time, and she like jump scares herself, because she has not looked at herself for so long. She has paraded around as someone who's not her for so long. And I think this brings up a good point, is that I think she's so afraid that if she shows people the real her, she will not be accepted. And that's the whole point of like fairest. So she parades around like someone else. She parades around acting like Trannery. She parades around looking like Solstice. She parades around looking and behaving completely different, because she knows, or she thinks that if she parades around any differently, like if she goes around being her true self, she's not going to be accepted, if that makes any sense. And she really this is like the point of like complete breakdown for Miss Girl. She's like in shambles to the point where she breaks the like Channery's mirror, being like, oh my god. She's in absolute shambles, love. And the guards come rushing in, and I'm like, Queen Levana, are you good? And she pulls off like the blanket. She goes like this, and she's like, I'm okay, but I have a request, right? We find the origin story of the veil, why she wears the veil. She puts on the veil, and she turns to the guards, and she's like, girl, I'm gonna need every reflective surface, every mirror in this castle to be gone, diminished. And the guard's like, girl, I don't think I could do that. And Levana's like, would you like to keep your life? And he's like, oh, okay, we'll get that done. So that's why there are no mirrors, no reflective surfaces ever in the palace of Artemisia. So after that, she's back to her gold boss. She's like, let's just pretend none of that happened. She is informing herself about what's happening on Earth, and she finds out that the Empress of the Eastern Commonwealth has died from leukosis, and she's thinking about like, oh my god, throw back to when Channery said that she wanted to assassinate the Empress. I guess like it's really just fate. I'm like, it's not fate if you planned it, babes. You planned leukosis to kill everyone. I guess you didn't like directly plan that to kill the Empress, you know what I mean? So like someone else could take her place. But like, girl, you planned this leukosis outbreak. It's not fate, babes, if you like statistically like and strategically planned everything out and said this and this. Like you were doing like mountain math in your head. Like, girl, this isn't fate. You planned that. Like it was on your agenda. And then we find out more about the forceful draft of the guard, and that she was like, well, if you don't become a guard for me, I'm gonna kill all your parents. And everyone's like, okay, I'll be a guard for you. Like, no wonder no one likes you, girl. No wonder, like, look around. I was gonna say look in the mirror, but she can't even do that. Ooh. Anyways, and we also find out that Luna, she's kind of falling apart because there's so much over like working the planet, you know, like over agriculture. I don't know the word for it. And so she's like, well, I don't have enough resources for Luna, so it's time to start conquering Earth. But not by like allyship or anything. By force. Dun dun dun. I mean, as if she wasn't already doing that. This is the most important part of the book. This is also the end of the book. This is also where I started crying. In order to conquer Earth, to ally with Earth, she needs to marry into the Commonwealth family in order to like be Empress and conquer Earth. But she's married. So, and you can't divorce someone, so the logical choice is to kill them, naturally. Here's how she does it. She slithers into Everett's bed one night, and it's like, oh, Everett, I love you so much. And little did Everett know that this would be his last moment on Earth, and he had to spend it defending Levana. Again, R.I.P. Everett. Fly high. You did what you had to do, babes, and I see you. And someone bust open the door, and it's like, pew, pew, pew. And guess who it is? It's Thaumaturge Haddon. And we find out that Levana like pays off Thaumaturge Haddon to do this. Well, not pays off, but she's like, I will marry you and you'll be an emperor if you do this for me, if you kill Everett for me. Girl. So Everett's like, get down, Levana, stay down, girl. And Joshua Haddon is like, too late, pow. He shoots Everett and he falls to the ground as one who's dying of a gunshot does. And Levana's like, oh my god, thank you so much, Joshua. You're so sweet for that. Pow! Stabs him in the chest and betrays Joshua too. And the whole time she's thinking of her vows, being like, oh, I will like love and cherish you forever, whatever. And I'm like, bro. And she's like sobbing over Everett's body. And here's the thing. She will do anything to get what she wants. She did anything to get Everett. But Everett is in the way with what she actually wants, right? So of course, she gets rid of him. But I do truly think that Levana loved Everett. Obviously, from like the first chapter, we see that. It's just that that love wasn't enough for her. Well, and it makes sense because Everett didn't love Levana. She coerced him to love her. And she finally realized that. And again, that fight where they're like, are you still waiting for me to love you? That fight, that was the moment. I think that was the moment when Levana was like, there's no point in trying with this anymore. And if I really want to get what I need and get what I want, because I think I'm the best ruler for Luna, if I really need to do this for Luna, I need to get rid of Everett. And I need to do this for myself because he doesn't love me. And no matter what I do, he's not gonna love me. I cannot wrap my head around it. And the book ends with, love is a conquest, love is war. Here's what I think of love. I'm like, wow. I really don't know what that, like, I know what it means, but I don't know what it implies. So like, she loves Luna, so she will show her love by conquering Earth and conquering everyone around her, right? But it's much deeper than just Earth. Again, we all know that she has alternative motives into conquering Earth, but that's not the point of her killing Everett. Is it? I think since that fight, she now understands that love isn't always transactional. Love is sometimes one-sided. And I think her killing Everett is also her rebelling against that kind of love. Her killing Everett is like her being like, there is no point in loving someone if they're not going to love you back. So I'm going to enact revenge by killing him. Does that make sense? So here's what I think of Fairest. I don't sympathize with her to the point where I think her character is redeemable. Absolutely not. This girl, at her big age, this girl is too far gone. Even if you're treated like shit, that does not give you the permission to treat others like that. So in that sense, I'm like, I'm not sympathetic towards her because I would be even more sympathetic if she went through this traumatic event and still turned out to be a good person. I would be more sympathetic. But again, I'm only 0.1% sympathetic. I ate my words because I started crying at the end. But also, I think what makes me 0.1% sympathetic for Levana is that the way she is treated is relatable. If you are also a unconventionally attractive person like B, you would understand how she feels. I think it's not only in the way that she thinks of and treats herself, but it's also the way people think of and treat her. It's so relatable, the way she never feels enough, the way people always just overlook her because she's not as pretty. Following Levana when she was like a teenager, and everyone has been that age once, you can understand her a little bit more because you've been in her shoes. That's what makes it sympathetic, because you have been that girl. That is what warrants sympathy, because you've been that way before. You felt that way before. At the end of the day, it's just a villain origin story, and we did find out why she is a villain. So the book did its job. And I do think the payoff was amazing, because even though I finished this like March, I'm still thinking about the plot and the fact that she killed her own husband. Like, it makes total sense of why she would do that. Like, that seems like a Levana thing to do, but I'm still thinking about it. I think I said this earlier in the story, but I had a bone to pick with the age gap thing. Like, I guess it makes sense that Everett is a little older than Levana because he's a guard, but they could have aged her up even still. It feels like Twilight all over again. You know, like when Jacob like imprints on the girl on resume when he imprints on ravioli, that's what it feels like. And like that part where it's implied where Everett and Levana have sex, and like, and Everett's all up in arms about it, as he should be. Part of me is like, girl, you're a grown adult, like, just leave, just get up and leave. But also, he's literally coerced and literally manipulated into it, but even still, you're the adult at the end of the day. Like, the lines of consent in the appropriate relationships in the book are very blurred, and for those reasons I had the book at 5 stars, but I knocked it down to 4.5 stars because of that specific reason. Like, it's just like, if you could have just made the guard the same age as Levana, or you could have just aged up Levana, or aged up all the characters, matter of fact. But it is a YA novel, but even still. But finding more about like the lore and how things come to be about the Lunar Chronicles is very interesting, and I loved learning about the politics in the Lunar Chronicles. Again, learning about politics in like sci-fi, fantasy, dystopian novels will always hit. The book was helpful because it gave like a retrospective summary and further explanations to events and plots and lore developments in previous books. I was like seeing all the puzzle pieces fall into place. Like, girl, I was having a good time. I had a fun time reading this. There was multiple times throughout the book where it left me absolutely speechless, as Marissa Meyer does, because Miss Marissa has the ability to shut your mouth so quick, to silence someone, to make you sit down in your IKEA chair. To me, this is a sad book. This is a tragic book because Levana only ever wanted to be loved. And that's what's gut-wrenching about this, because Levana could be any of us. You can find a little bit of Levana, a little bit of that insecurity that she's got. Yeah, you also have the need to be loved. You also feel the need to give someone else their love. You also feel the need to be perceived as beautiful. That is a human characteristic. That is a human trait. And I think this book humanizes Levana, but I don't think it's enough to make me 100% sympathize with her. Again, even if after all of your traumatic events, even if after all of that and you're still a piece of skill issue. I'm gonna read out loud what I wrote down in my review on my Google documents when it got to the part at the end of the book where it says, love is a conquest, love is a war, here's what I think of war. Sorry, here's what I think of love. I literally wrote, yeah, no thanks. I think when she apologized to Ever for killing him, I think she actually means it, and that's what kills me. And I wrote, I am howling into the void. I'm convulsing on the ground. My spirit has moved on, and the life cycle of rebirth has begun once again. And I truly relate to that, and I stick by what I said. I think it's, again, going back to the fact that I do think it's a sad story because she'll never realize or admit that she is the villain. And she doesn't realize that, like, she could have changed. She could have not done that. She could have made any other decision. This book is going to stick with me, like one of those stickers that you put on, like, the window of a car and it just never comes off. It's stuck on there. This book is stuck in the crevices of my brain. She's not getting out anytime soon. I would like to end this video with a thanks to Miss Marissa Meyer, because she has strategically opened my chest, ripped out my heart, performed open heart surgery, and she did it well, tore into tiny pieces, and then presented me a new heart, and then put it back and stitched it all back up again. She teared my heart to pieces. She made me 0.1% sympathize with this awful, character. And how could she even write a character like that? See, I was looking at her books. Heartless, the retelling of Alice in Wonderland, but from the Red Queen's perspective. I'm excited to read that, because knowing the way how she wrote Levana, how is she gonna write the Red Queen? So if you're watching this, Miss Meyer, I am a big fan, and I would love for you to give me a little PR and send me any new releases you got. I would love for you to send Heartless a signed copy, if that's not asking too much. I would love for you to send me a signed copy of Heartless so I can read it and review it, and 5 stars automatically. Yeah, that's for sure. Anyways, I'm excited to finish Winter. Again, I got 50 pages left. I'm excited to start Stars Above. I'm excited to start Wire and Nerve, graphic novels, the duology, and I'm excited to read all the rest of her books. I truly enjoyed this book, and I do recommend to read it before you read Winter, especially if you read the Lunar Chronicles spaced out, and if you don't remember all of the material from each book. I would recommend reading Fairest before Winter. Ultimately, I would give this book 4.5 crowns out of 5 crowns. Yes, we're staying on theme. I hope you guys like this video. I know it was super long, and I know it's my first one, and it's so ambitious and so delusional to upload a more than 30-minute video for your first video. But I had so many things to say, and I had so many things to recap, and I wanted to share my love for the Lunar Chronicles with you guys. I hope you guys come back. I think the next video I post is not going to be about a book, but I'm excited to just start uploading just random things, book reviews, art, fashion, vlogs, things like that. I'm excited to start, this new chapter in my life. So please buckle up your seatbelts, get in the passenger seat, girl, and come along for the ride. Yeah, if you guys like the video, subscribe, comment down below. Comment down below. Hey guys, I'm a real YouTuber. Comment down below. I would love to hear your opinions and thoughts about Fairest, about the Lunar Chronicles, about literally anything. If you have anything to say, ask, or whatever, I will be in those comments. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.